Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 2024 CPL U Sports Draft presented by Degree. My name is Adam Jenkins. Pleased to be back in the host chair for a second consecutive year, as today we celebrate 6 years of this event and 16 new players to have their names called, or perhaps a few whose names have been called in the past. That is the beauty of this system, an important collaboration between the Canadian Premier League and with U Sports. It is obviously a place that I have known, I am very familiar with, I am very grateful for. U Sports is where I got my start, and it has helped lead me to my career, just as it has done for a handful of players who have really taken this opportunity and succeeded. But obviously, it's a big step every single year to get this invite. 203 players declared their draft eligibility. And over the course of the next hour here on One Soccer and CBC Sports, we will get to know more about them, their stories, and give supporters a few new names to think about heading into the new year. Before we begin, let us go through some of the rules for you today and the draft order. So this draft is eligible to any of the players in U Sports in good standing with the year of eligibility remaining. And something that is notable from this draft order, we knew 1 through 8 already based on the rankings to end the season with the top 4 in reverse order from where they finished the postseason. Valor, Vancouver, Atletico Ottawa, York United, Halifax Wanderers, Pacific Cavalry Forge. That was announced. But an hour ago, Tommy Wheeldon Jr. and Afshfin Gapi threw us a bit of a curveball with the first trade in the history of this draft, as Cavalry sends pick 15 and future considerations to Vancouver in exchange for the 10th pick of this draft. Speaking of Cavalry, Eric Kobza is a player that took his moment last year. His name was called by the Cavs and went on to become a mainstay in Tommy Wheeldon Jr.'s 11 match in, match out on the way to lifting the CPL shield. As we put Valor on the clock for the first overall selection, let's take a peek at this interview between the CPL's Charlie O'Connor-Clark and Eric Kobza as he reflects on his journey from the draft to the pros.
Joined now by Cavalry FC's Eric Kobza, last year's 14th overall pick in this draft from the University of Calgary, and you went on to play 29 games for the best team in a regular season, actually second on the team in minutes. Eric, I guess just to start us off, tell us about what that experience was like for you, getting drafted last winter, coming into camp, signing the U Sports deal, and then in July, signing a full contract to be a huge part of this Cavalry team all the way through the playoffs and then starting the final.
Yeah, it was pretty, I guess, a quick turn of events. I knew in the days leading up to it that there might have been a chance that Cavs might draft me, but nothing was kind of certain. But then once I heard my name called, it was a pretty special moment for myself and my family. Definitely worked a long time for this, and a couple of years ago, without the draft, following university, players in Canada are probably looking either start regular jobs and play men's league or shoot their shot in Europe or somewhere overseas. So the fact that we have an opportunity for Canadian football players to play in our home country, and the league's growing year by year, more players are being sold. So the pathway is proven. I think players are now realizing that, and that they can actually make a career in Canada, and then if they want, they can kick on abroad. But yeah, I mean, I came into camp wanting to earn a spot, and to be honest, I got the chance due to an unfortunate injury to probably one of my better teammates or better friends on the team, Shamit Shom, and that's kind of how football works. You get a chance, and maybe in an unlucky situation, like you don't want to see your teammate go down, but I got my chance and kind of thrown into the mix. But I think I earned that trust over preseason with the gaffer, and kind of took it from there.
16 more kids are going to hear their names called today. We've seen what this pathway can do for players like yourself, players that have also come through this pathway, Joel Waterman and Victor Lattori. What advice do you think that you would have for some of these U Sports players when they go into camps with these opportunities to earn a U Sports contract in this spring?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an unbelievable opportunity. I think the biggest thing to kind of keep in mind is that nothing's kind of granted or given to you right away from from the get-go, you got to earn it still in preseason. But again, it's an unbelievable opportunity. It shows that these coaches and the club are going to try and invest in you. They see something in you. So go in there with confidence too, because clearly you're a good player if you're getting your name called. And yeah, do your best, and who knows what can happen. I definitely didn't expect to have the season I had from, to be honest, I had a small goal of I think about 14 appearances. That was the goal I had in my head, and that's appearances, not starts. So I guess I kind of exceeded my own expectations, but I think that's just a testament to kind of putting my head down and working hard and trusting in the coaching staff and learning the system. So yeah, go in there with your head held high and kind of get to work and try and do your best and earn a contract.
Eric Kobza, from 14th overall pick to utility midfielder, defender, all around important piece for Cavalry FC as regular season champions this season. Eric, thank you so much.
And thank you to Charlie O'Connor-Clark and Eric Cobbs. Certainly one of the biggest success stories from last season. Our thanks to Degree for putting on this event today, the 6th draft, and we are just about to find out who will become the 6th player to go first overall in this draft. But before we get there, we do want to let you know that there is a link in the chat this afternoon for anyone who might be interested in winning one of 3 flex packs to any team of your choosing. All you have to do is click on the link in the chat. That will send you to the contest page. Let us know where we can contact you if you win the prize, and you might be taking home one of those 3 flex packs. Easy for me to say. Good luck to all. And with that, it is time to begin the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's introduce the Commissioner of the Canadian Premier League and the CEO of the Canadian Soccer Business, Mr. Mark Noonan, to announce Valor's first overall selection. Commissioner.
Thank you, Adam. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are. It's great to be here. It's one of the most exciting days of our league where we look into the future. And the Canadian Premier League is a league of opportunity, and there are many pathways coming into our league. And we've seen successes like Eric, and we have 16 other young men who are going to join us today. So without further ado, let's thank Degree. And with the first overall pick of the 2024 CPL U Sports Draft, Valor FC select Owen Shepherd from Cape Breton University.
So Owen Shepherd becomes the third different Cape Breton University caper to be selected first overall, and also a little bit of CPL history. Should Owen go through and step on a CPL field, he would become the first player from Newfoundland. That's right, the Rock represented. We had Dan Nimick from Labrador with the Halifax Wanderers last year, but Owen Shepherd of St. John's, a winger who scored 9 goals in 11 matches played, was also named the U Sports National Championship Tournament MVP with the gold medal around his neck, and his fellow teammates with the Capers. Congratulations as well to Dino Morley. That is now 50% of all first-round picks belonging to the Capers. Let us introduce now, to talk about the selection, Phil Dos Santos. He is, of course, the head coach and general manager of Valor, to talk about that pick. Phil, good afternoon, now officially in Winnipeg. You've been quite busy. Dante Campbell's extension just announced, and now a first overall pick for Owen Shepherd. What can you tell us about the player you selected?
Hey, Adam, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, look, we had the chance to see him live, and just his pace, his versatility, and the ability he has to produce offensively in many different ways. I think it's a player that delivered in a big moment, and these are things that we look at. So we're excited to see what Owen is able to do coming into preseason, and I think it's a player that's CPL ready right now.
Well, a reminder to all that after the selection is made, we have to put the next team on the clock. So that is Vancouver, who is ready to make their selection, as we come back to Phil for a word on this first team All-Canadian. Phil, obviously this is a team that really knows how to gel through tough times, but I think there's no doubt that in Winnipeg, you guys would love for there to be fewer tough times next year and a little more success from the hop. How is the offseason going, and what are the things that you and your staff are putting together to try and really focus on that fast start in 24?
Yeah, it's been busy. We want players that we believe have the capacity to step in and produce immediately. So for us, it's important to bring a good mix of players that know the CPL, that understand the league, that have succeeded in the league, and have the ability to also nurture a little bit of on the young players, help the young players progress. So we're excited about what's coming our way right now, and we think that it's going to be a bit of a different face for our club. But we know what we want to shape the team like. We know what we want this to look like, so we're excited about it.
And certainly CPL supporters and Valor supporters especially are excited as well. Phil, thank you. Congratulations on the selection. We will see you in the second round. Back to the commissioner for that second pick for Vancouver FC.
Thanks, Adam. With the second overall pick of the 2024 CPL U Sports Draft, Vancouver FC select Luke Norman from the University of British Columbia.
So a hometown boy from Vancouver goes to Vancouver FC. Second overall, a sophomore from the T-Birds, right-footed central midfielder, 19 years of age, a very creative midfielder known for his vision, decision-making, passing that first touch. He had 4 goals in 14 matches played, also some experience in League One BC with the Whitecaps. Self-described as a player always looking for pockets of space to receive, to turn, and to play forward. I'm sure Ashvin Gopi is very excited about those qualities. The head coach of Vancouver joins us now as we put our next club on the clock to make their selection. That will be Atletico Ottawa. Ashvin, Luke Norman, UBC. What excited you the most about this midfielder?
Hi, Adam. Luke was with us last year for almost a month, so I got to know him very well. He's a great pro already in his mentality and the way he approaches every training. I love his vision. I love his ability to combine. He's really a footballer, and I think our goal was to add local players that can play the football that we are trying to develop at Vancouver FC.
And Ashvin, we obviously saw you heavily rely on your 2 CPL U Sports Draft picks last year, Anthony White, first overall, Amir Kanani, second overall. So obviously having that relationship already with Luke and that experience with Vancouver, you'll know he can come in and really battle and have that chance to earn a spot on this team.
Definitely. And I was also a product of college soccer, college football. I played at UCLA, but at the time that I played, NASL had folded. So we didn't really have a professional or pathway to come into professional football in the United States and in America. So I think this is a fantastic program. And the fact that the program allows players to come in, and if they don't do well or if they're not ready, they can go back and then re-enter again is just a genius pathway that has been created, or a bridge that players can go back and forth. So I'm really happy with Anthony, of course. And as we saw Amir did very well. So we're very excited about how this program will enhance our team every year.
Well, Ashvin, an important distinction. You were a UCLA Bruin. Amir Kanani was a TMU Bold. I also went to TMU, but there's a reason why I'm talking and not playing on your football team. Congratulations on your selection. We'll see you in the second round. Ashvin Gopi, the head coach of Vancouver, as Mark Noonan is ready to announce pick 3.
Great. Thanks, Adam. With the third overall pick of the 2024 CPL U Sports Draft, Atletico Ottawa select Luca Piccioli from Carleton University.
So the local theme remains consistent. Back-to-back picks for the university that plays in the club's town. In this case, it is Carleton University, the Raven, Luca Piccioli, another central midfielder, a little bit more experienced, 28 years of age, a box-to-box player. He loves to pass, loves the link-up play. He says that I am an extremely competitive player. I don't mind getting stuck in when need to be. A graduate of Gloucester Celtic. We also have some experience with St. Joseph's High School in Ottawa and Lester B. Pearson in Montreal. And a Raven, certainly that pipeline with Kwesi Loney and his crew at Carleton continues to remain true for Atletico Ottawa. As Carlos Gonzalez joins us now, and York United is officially on the clock for pick 4. Carlos, good afternoon. It is wonderful to see you. Are ravens your favorite bird? I'm starting to notice a trend here.
Hello, Adam. Nice to see you also. Well, yeah, I think that we have a special connection with Carleton University. The selection, we are very happy for it. He's a known player for us because he has been training with us in the last few years, and we really like from him his offensive capacity, his skills, technical skills, and the way he break defensive lines. I think that is a great addition for the team. I think that he can still develop, and very happy to maintain the connection and solidify the connection and give opportunities to the players of the city.
Now, obviously, we saw the big news to start the offseason, your extension, also Tier Walker's extension, really starting to get a sense that these younger players from in and around the Ottawa-Gatineau region, Carlos, that you and the staff identify have this skill, have that pathway now. How have you seen the way your staff and your philosophy with these younger players has evolved as you've had more time in the nation's capital?
Well, since the beginning, one of the goals for us, for the staff, was to create a big bond and to create this link with the players of the city and not only Ottawa, also Gatineau. And the idea is to keep doing that. You know, I think that we are lucky because we have a lot of talent in the area. And little by little, with the connection with Kwesi, with the connection with Carleton University, I think with the development program that we have, and we have been doing since the last few years, I think that little by little we are getting players over there, and this will be also for the future, not only for the present.
Well, Carlos, congratulations and thank you. We'll see you in round number 2. Back to the commissioner for the next selection.
With the 4th overall pick of the 2024 CPL Youth Sports Draft, York United FC stays local and selects Christian Zeppieri from York University.
Well, the commissioner is not being hyperbolic, local in the sense that I'm sure Martin Nash could scout Christian Zeppieri out of his window at York Lions Stadium. From Maple, Ontario, absolutely torched Ontario University athletics last season. 5 goals, 2 of them game winners, 17 matches played, all starts for the Lions on their way to an OUA finalist finish. A 6'1" box-to-box midfielder, 20 years of age, out of Bill Crothers Secondary School, an accounting major with some experience at Toronto FC's academy as well. Well, let's talk about it with Martin Nash, as Pacific FC is now on the clock. Martin, I suppose, first of all, congratulations on your contract extension. A busy day for you. You've got some selections to make and some job security to boot. Must be an exciting time at York United with the new ownership as well.
Yeah, really exciting. It's great to have ownership in that's committed and getting behind everything. And it's good times for the club, and we're looking forward to the future.
Well, let's talk about Christian Zeppieri. I think there is you see the highlights on your screen right now, but as you got to watch some more video and do a true scout on this player, what were some of the attributes of his game that stood out to you, Martin?
Yeah, I love his technical quality, his ability to play short and long. He's got a great passing range, and I love a midfielder that has a little bit of bite, gets stuck in. So I think he's kind of a bit of the complete package, and I'm excited to see what he brings coming into preseason.
On this new transition, obviously there's much for the new owners to get acquainted with the community, also for you and the staff to help with that transition and really look towards what next year and beyond can look like. We'll get to obviously some more questions as the roster continues to be built, but right now, what excites you the most about the next upcoming year, Martin?
Yeah, I think right now we're in building phase, so we're looking at players trying to make the squad better and just move up the table more. We had a good year last year, a solid year. We dropped some points maybe we shouldn't have, and we're just trying to improve on our squad and take that next step.
Well, certainly Christian could be one of those players to help improve that squad. Martin, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the next round. And now back to the commissioner for the next selection.
With the 5th overall pick in the 2024 CPL Youth Sports Draft, the Halifax Wanderers FC select Daniel Clark from Cape Breton University.
Well, that is the second caper to go in this opening round, and Patrice Geyser and co are also going back to the draft for a goalkeeper, a big man between the sticks, born in Milton Keynes, some time all across League One Ontario, Woodbridge, Scrissapi, Guelph as well, product of the Halifax U23s. says excels in his ball handling, footwork, and distribution, and does not shy away from putting his body on the line. Let's talk about this draft pick, Daniel Clark with Patrice Geyser. Pacific, you are now on the clock as we say, Patrice, good afternoon. Another goalkeeper on your Christmas list this year. What was it about Dan that you liked, other than Dan's last year seemed to work pretty well for you?
Yeah, hey Adam. Yeah, we've been following Dan for quite some time, and we had him with us in the past summer. Was really impressed with his ability to grow. Obviously, what meets the eye is his commitment to make the big saves, his size, and his bravery. But I think, what I really loved with him was when he was with us earlier in the season, his work rate and desire to grow. So, we already had a young keeper and we have a young team, and we feel like Dan will be a welcome addition. I thought watching him live as well at the national championship was just to reconfirm his ability, and obviously coming off a national championship shows that he's a winner as well.
Patrice, with that staff you have, and we saw Jan Michael and Jan last year really putting together a good foundation for you guys. Aiden Rushinas, who was picked, got to sort of develop and learn from Jan. Do you think that group that you have, that spine that you've assembled between the sticks, can help Clark transition to the CPL level?
Oh, absolutely. I love seeing Aiden and Jan work together. Jan has got a unique, background that he played in the league. He played international football. He brings a different flavor that I haven't seen as a GK coach. So he really made the guys work together, compete, but yet for the common drive. So I think Daniel, as I said, will be a welcome addition. And I love Daniel's confidence. He's not shy to say that he wants to break out and be the number one. So we look forward to having him with us in the training camp.
I love that. Jan, Dan, and Aidan as the goalkeepers
that's
in
nice.
Halifax, Nova Scotia. Well done on the symmetry, Patrice. We'll see you in round number 2. Commissioner, ready for the next selection.
Thank you, Adam. With the 6th overall pick of the 2024 CPL U Sports Draft, Pacific FC select Michael Maslanka from the University of Toronto.
The Pacific go to the GTA, Mississauga, in fact, the hometown of Michael Maslanka, a very quick, very explosive forward, 5'8", 18 years old, still plenty of development in his future, but certainly a guy who knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. The scouting report, calls for dynamic and clinical finishing, certainly some speed. A graduate of Loyola Catholic Secondary School nearby to the One Soccer Studios as well. A little Go Warriors in there for you. And we say, Cavalry, you're now on the clock. And also good afternoon to James Merriman, who joins us now from Pacific. James, this is a group that you have assembled in Victoria of forwards that each bring a unique skill set. How do you think Michael can fit into this group?
Yeah, I think you said it. How are you, Adam? I think you said it. He's a young forward, still 18 years old, born in 2005, and he's scored almost 10 goals in his rookie year. He's very quick. He's clever. He's a technical player. He's dynamic. I think he can complement other players that we have attacking and the way that we want to play. So he's somebody that's really interesting for us. He's also very humble, hardworking. This opportunity he really wants. And we have a great relationship with the coaching staff at the university, obviously, that speak very highly of him. So he's somebody with good potential and somebody we want to begin working with.
And James, I'm sure as I picture you sitting on the dock or the deck in Tofino going through the scouts for this team, how were you looking to try and improve on this group and your mindset for the offseason this year?
Yeah, I think that we're looking for that humble, that humility, and that character, that hardworking player, but also with the technical ability and dynamic. And at the end of the day, he's scoring goals, and we need that. We need to be more clinical in the final third. And he's someone that has potential to add to our team in that area, and he's got good potential. So he's an exciting young player for us to work with.
Trading in the varsity blue for purple and teal, perhaps. We'll see how training camp goes. James, thanks. We'll see you in round 2. Back to Mark Noonan for the penultimate pick of the opening round.
Thank you, Adam. With the 7th overall pick of the 2024 CPL U Sports Draft, our shield holders, Cavalry FC, select Caden Rogozinski from Mount Royal University.
Cavalry and Mount Royal University. This has been a pipeline that has already paid off in spades for the club, and they will certainly be hoping that Caden Rogozinski can add to what is becoming quite the tandem between the Cavs and the Cougars. Electric City in League One Ontario, Victoria Highlanders in League One BC, a couple of stops on his CV. A dominant physical defender, reads situations well, controls the line, and wins duels. Tommy Wheeldon Jr. certainly knows a thing or two about developing center backs, and the head coach and GM joins us now. Tommy, good morning to you in Calgary. Another center back for the Cavs. I think Dan Klomp is going to have a new prodigy to work with in training camp this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Caden's a lad that we know very well, and what we drafted him 2 years ago, and probably wasn't physically or mentally ready. Now, I mean, credit to the lad and credit to Mount Royal and the environments at League One. He's experienced, he's developed, he's physically more mature. He's a leader of the Mount Royal team, and he's a player that plays with calmness. But is also aggressive and not afraid to put his body in there. But I think he's a player that we feel now that could give us great depth in the back line and could play at the CPL level.
Well, we will remind Forge that they are now on the clock. Tommy, I want to ask you as well. This is certainly a different type of player, because we see a lot in the draft, forwards and midfielders going. It's a different type of transition, I imagine, from the university level to the pro game. That has to be the same, but in essence, very different in a lot of ways for central defenders, especially how they read play, how they pick up patterns. What have you sort of noticed from these younger center backs, even Eric playing more as the 6 and then dropping in when he needs to, as they make the transition to this level?
Well, I'll go one further. We had Dominic Zator, similar age as what Caden is now, Eric Kobza, Joel Waterman, now Caden. I tell you what you get from youth sports players is their intelligence, right? They're players that have, they're going through the learning environment right now. So when you give them something to learn, and you take Eric, for example, that we went, right, play as a holder mid, play as a right back, play as a right centre back. When in possession do this, he's always asking questions. So they got this studious brain that I love working with, because it's not new to them learning, and just being in a new environment, they're physically ready because it's a hard schedule in youth sports, and they're emotionally ready. So all you've got to do with them is be able to stretch out the professional season. And I think that's what the old heads in our group, like your Marcos, your Sergios, your Charlie Traffords, and your Nick Ledgerwoods, that can help them with that. So I love this draft. I think it's a shining light in the league.
Well, we can't wait to see your first round pick and your second round pick, which is coming up very shortly because of that trade. But before we get there, we have one more to wrap up the opening round. Here is Mark Newman.
Thank you, Adam. With the 8th overall pick in this 2024 CPL U Sports Draft, Forge FC select Mohamed Ndiaye from the University of Quebec, Trois-Rivières.
So the Patriots have another player selected following in the footsteps of Guillaume Pianelli. Certainly Forge has known a thing or two about UQTR in the past. He is a local boy playing for his local school, Trois-Rivières. 6'1", central midfielder, very technical, very physical, and quick. That certainly seems to fit the Forge style of play. And the Patriots in the RSEQ have been dynamite for a long time. You can certainly see the speed and agility on the ball. Let's talk a little bit more about that with Jelani Smith, the Director of Soccer Operations at Forge FC. Jelani, this seems like your type of player. What do you like about him?
Definitely. A midfielder is a high upside. Brings a bit everything to the table. Plays well between the lines, finding half spaces, a good eye in the final third. Also, he's a two-way player in that sense, where it's a good physical presence defensively and has plenty of potential.
Plenty of potential, and obviously this is a roster that is tough to crack. Not to say that it's impossible. We've seen some success stories. Let's talk about Gavin Miché-Matusala from Concordia, also in the RSEQ, really carving out a space for himself. But when you go into these drafts, you obviously see the scouting report, but I think everyone knows that there is a certain type of footballer that it takes to be a Forge footballer. What was it about Mohamed that you think can be that type of guy?
Dynamic. I think the Forge philosophy is composure, playing, an eye for a pass, and he has all those qualities. And reviewing this film and watching some of his recent matches, he definitely fits the Forge mold and has a lot of qualities to look for in our midfielders here. And obviously, dribbling between the lines, something that we maybe missed a bit this season, and he brings that.
Well, congratulations, Jelani. Thank you for joining us for your first round pick. We will see you at the other side of the draft when the champs pick to round out round 2. But that is it for the opening 8 selections. Let us recap what we have seen so far in this draft, selections 1 through 8. Owen Shepard from Cape Breton University going first overall to Valor. His teammates with the Capers, Dan Clark going to the Halifax Wanderers at 5th. Luke Norman of UBC going 2nd to Vancouver. Luca Piccioli of the Carleton Ravens goes 3rd. Christian Zeppieri, the York University Lion, midway through the draft at 4th. Michael Maslenka from the University of Toronto goes to Pacific. Caden Rogozinski from Mount Royal University goes to the Cavs. And as we just heard with Jelani Smith, Muhammad Ndiaye rounds out the opening round of the draft. A reminder that this 2024 edition of the draft is presented by Degree. We thank them for the support of this event and the Canadian Premier League. And also a reminder that if you are interested in winning one of 3 flex packs for a team of your choice, you can go to the link in the chat, click on it, enter your information so we know how to contact you if you win, and you might be seeing some of these young men in the 2024 season. Well, it is time to begin round number 2. Valor, they maintain that first selection of the round, and we show you how the rest of the round will follow as well. Cavalry trading up to 10. Atletico Ottawa, York United, Halifax, and Pacific hold their spots from their order just a few moments ago, and then Vancouver will have the penultimate pick. Forge will go last. So, Commissioner, I believe we are ready to begin. Who is going 9th overall?
Thanks, Adam. With the 9th overall pick of the 2024 CPL U Sports Draft, Valor FC select Frank Faccineri from the University of Windsor.
Now, I will have to double check this, but I am quite convinced that this is the first Lancer to go in the CPL U Sports Draft. Out of the OUA to Valor. We'll certainly talk to Phil Dos Santos about him in a moment, but the scouting report on this young man, speaking of some center backs, who can dominate in possession, Frank is one of those. Great in the air, offensively and defensively. Phil Dos Santos, who joins us now as we put Cavalry on the clock. I'm reading in the scouting report, Phil, that this is a quintessential quarterback type of player. That reminds me of one Andrew Jean-Baptiste. What do you think of the player you drafted?
I've worked with Frankie in Vancouver, so he's a player that captained the national team also at a World Cup with the U17. So he's someone that went from very high hopes to suddenly seeing in some capacity the rug being pulled from underneath him and having to go to an environment where maybe he wasn't expecting to. So it shows a lot. He played in League One, was Defender of the Year there. So in Ontario, so it shows character from him, humility. And I think that, again, he's, yes, good on the ball, but first and foremost, he defends. And I think that's important in a defender. He's a center back that is not afraid of getting in the duels, in the challenges. It could dominate in the air, and then has that ability to also play out and do it with security. So there's a lot of good things going for him. Now, I'm curious to see and excited to see how he's going to get back to a pro environment, use the experience, the setback that maybe he had to go through as a strength for him. So I think it's a player that we like and we think could step into this environment and do well.
Well, Phil, I'm going to ask all of your colleagues this same question. We know Owen Shepard and Frank Faccineri will be your draft picks today, but as we look ahead to 2024 for all the Valor supporters watching, what would you like to tell them and what would you like them to know about your offseason right now?
Again, it's one where we always like the team that we have on paper. We like how the roster is shaping up, and we always try and put a team that one thing people can't doubt is the work ethic of the group, the way they want to approach each game with a mentality to fight, to play for the win. And I think that's not going to be different. looking at last season, the marginal gains weren't on our side. There's a lot of moments we felt we could and should have the wins. I think that comes with also adding quality in the roster, and that's what we've been working for. We've been very, very meticulous in the approach and making sure that we don't only get the best players possible, but also the right players for what we want to build here in Winnipeg.
Well, Phil, I know it's been a busy offseason. Hope you're able to put your feet up a little bit over the holiday break. All the best to you and your family. Thanks for joining us, and congratulations on your selections. Mark Noonan, Cavalry is back up and ready to go.
Thank you, Adam. With the 10th overall pick in the 2024 CPL U Sports Draft, Cavalry FC select Rodane Cato from the University of Alberta.
We have a Cougar and a Golden Bear going to the Cavs. Rodane Cato from Edmonton goes 10th overall, a central midfielder who played 12 times for the Bears this season. Saying a very versatile player, work rate, drive to win, defensively strong, and good at advancing the ball in play. That is how the young man describes himself. Of course, we can see for ourselves the highlights on the screen. As we welcome Tommy Wheeldon Jr. back to the program, we will remind Atletico Ottawa that they are now on the clock. Tommy, this is a club, Cavalry, that loves your Forever First. Obviously a Forever First CPL Shield, but a Forever First draft trade as well that you've sprinkled in for us here. What was it about the move in front of you with Vancouver and this player that made you want to trade up?
Well, listen, I think as you know, we're advocates of the U Sports and the depth of the picks that you can have, because there's even going to be players not selected that will be turning up and getting invites to our camp for, you can sign up to 3 U Sports players, which I think is terrific as players that can be depth or key players like we've seen with Eric Kobza. What we like in Rodane is he's physically ready. He's a midfielder that can win the ball back, advance the play up, has got a good range of passing, has a bite, and is athletic. And, it was actually, funny enough, a Jeff Paulus call over a year ago that alerted me to him. And, then my brother played against him in the League One, and then Marty Anderson passes on the information to Topher Fakunli and Leon Apgood, and we just kept our eyes on him. And Edmonton are an important part of our catchment area now, and the Golden Bears always do a great job of that. And we've got Shamit Shom, who's a former Golden Bear alumni, and Bruno Zebi, who's a former player of ours that's a coach there. So the contact and the networks are real, and we like Rodane, and we want to see how he does in pre-season with us.
I just wanted to highlight something. We have all the players who declare their eligibility tell us a little bit about themselves, and obviously that information is for us, for the media, for the supporters eventually as well. But this line stood out to me, Tommy. He said, "My coach once told me that my overall skill and talent is good, but the most impressive thing is the ability to listen and follow instructions." Not just for Rodane, but for any of the players in the draft or who might want to be in the draft one day. How important are those coachable skills and qualities of a player that makes them appealing?
Brilliant. I mean, we're still a very young professional country. So like I said, given the opportunity to young educated minds, hungry, hard workers, they're having to balance their time management year in, year out. So when you bring them into training camp and they're going through their finals, like, they can manage it. So they're used to a little bit of pressure. And I think having an open mind and learning one is critical. And I think that's what we've got in both of our selections. But what I'm seeing across the board is going to be quite true as well.
Well, Tommy, I know better than to ask you what future considerations will mean. I know that will come out in due time, but I do want to congratulate you on the draft and on the year. Happy holidays to you and your family. Thanks for joining us. Back to Mark Noonan as Atletico Ottawa are ready for their next selection.
Thank you, Adam. With the 11th overall pick in the 2024 CPL U Sports Draft, Atletico Ottawa select Samuel Laplante from the University of Quebec at Trois-Rivières.
So this will be a name that isn't brand new to the draft. In fact, Sam was selected by Valor 12th overall in the draft in 2023. Of course, for players, the rights can be retained or not retained, and when they're not, they are eligible to re-enter the draft. That is what Sam has done, and he is going to head to the nation's capital. He is a left back that loves to go 1v1, strong left foot for crosses as well. Played for Saint-Hubert in Ligue 1 Quebec, and from Saint-Julie, Quebec, he'll go to Ottawa and try to crack into Carlos Gonzalez's roster. Carlos, a wing back with speed, a good left foot, and a lot of upside. What was it about Samoa that you were a big fan of?
Yeah, I think that you spotted in the type of player that he is. He's a very versatile winger. I call it a total winger, left-footed, that can play in the three positions of the wing. And as we say, he has very special characteristics that we were looking for: versatility, the capacity of play with intensity, dynamism, and of course his technical ability. I think that he's a player that he still has a lot of room for the growth, and he has a previous experience last season in the picks of Valor in the draft. So I think that he's a very interesting player. So I'm looking forward to know him a little bit more during this preseason, and I hope that he develops in the level that we are looking for.
We'll remind York United and Martin Nash that they are on the clock for their next selection. I want to ask you this, Carlos. I asked Phil the same. For the offseason now, and all the supporters that are watching, we know Atletico Ottawa has one of the most passionate supporters groups in the nation, in the league. What would you like them to know as we head into the new year about the offseason and the club's plans?
Well, I would like them to know that we haven't stopped working since we ended the last season, that we are like reshaping the new squad. We are taking care of every single detail, of planning the best team, planning the best winner team for the next season. And this is what we're doing every single day, putting a lot of good energy so that we come back into a winner team in the season 2024. This is our idea.
And Carlos, thank you. Feliz Navidad. Happy holidays to you, the club, and your family. Thanks for joining us as we head back to Mark Noonan for our next selection.
Thank you, Adam. With the 12th overall pick of the 2024 CPL U Sports Draft, York United FC select Jason Hartle from the Cape Breton University.
Well, it is becoming an absolute sweep for the Capers. A third to go. Jason Hartle of Carleton Place, Ontario, goes 12th overall in this year's CPLU Sports Draft, presented by Degree. A box-to-box midfielder, some versatility. He can also slide into the back line at fullback as well. But someone who loves to get on the ball, try to break some lines as he describes his style of play. Good work rate, tenacity out of possession, and being able to run for 90 minutes. I know I can't do that. I know Martin Nash used to. I'm sure he probably still could, but you're getting some legs and some confidence in this young man from the Capers. Martin, what was it about the selection that you enjoyed?
Yeah, I think he really suits the way we play, which, he's good in possession. He's a good passer of the ball. He's got great match awareness. He can see a pass. And on the defensive side, he's sharp. He gets after the ball, and he can press the ball really well. So I think he's kind of a complete midfielder, and someone who's really interesting to us, and we're looking forward to seeing him in training camp.
Reminder that the Halifax Wanderers are on the clock. Last question for you, Martin. I know that there are so many question marks with the transition we spoke about earlier, but as you reflect on the 2023 season from a coach's perspective, from your perspective as a former player yourself and everything that went on, what are you most proud of this group as you reflect on 2023?
I think what I'm most proud of is how we stuck together. There was a lot of moments this year that this group could have fell apart, and there was a lot of work to be done as a group to keep the glue and keep us together, and we were able to do that and fight all the way to the end. And I thought we ended the season real strong. We had a great playoff performance in Pacific, although we didn't win, and I think it just bodes well for the group. And we just got to try to get better in certain areas as a team, and try to challenge for the top dogs.
Well, Martin, once again, a thorough congratulations on your contract extension announced today. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations on your selections. We look forward to seeing York United in the new year. Mark?
Thank you, Adam. With the 13th overall pick of the 2024 CPLU Sports Draft, the Halifax Wanderers FC select Max Badertha from St. Francis Xavier University.
Our first X-Man goes today. Max Badertha from Halifax, Nova Scotia, fourth year at St. FX. Physical player. That's the presence he likes to bring into his match match play at the back line. Center back who played 12 times at St. FX this season, pitching in a goal as well. Experience as a defensive midfielder as well, a la Eric Kobza, which we spoke about earlier in the show. Composure, patience, and problem solver can slide in well with quite the group you've got back there, Patrice Geyser. That is very similar to the Daniil Henry, Cale Lockery, and Dan Nimick archetype, those heady defenders who can pitch in on both sides of the ball. Oh, Patrice, we got you muted. I'm sorry. There we go. Take two. Patrice still getting word that there's something with your microphone. We'll try one more time to see if we can get that unmuted either on the laptop or on the microphone. Technical difficulties. Try again.
Okay.
Max. There he is. Sorry about that technical difficulty, everyone. Patrice, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Max is a player that we're really excited about, and obviously he's been with us with our U23 team for a little bit. His growth as a midfielder has brought additional comfort for him on the ball. He's certainly a great athlete that has transitioned quite well into a center back, and having comfort to play on the right side. On the left side gives us a lot of different variations. Certainly he fits the identity that we like to have for our team, and he has the ability to play out of the back, and I just really enjoy his competitiveness. I was very impressed watching him live, and I thought he did a really good job in the AUS finals, and he continues to grow, and I think the ceiling is very high for him.
Well, we will head back to the West Coast in a moment. Pacific are on the clock for their next selection. Patrice, I know approval from council on a new stadium is probably pretty high on your holiday wish list for a new stadium, but as you look forward to 2024, what you're able to do with this group together, obviously a brilliant season for you lot. How do you think this team can take the next step in your evolution heading into the new year?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think the group having the belief now coming back next year. And, Adam, if you were to break down our season into three parts, we started the first third with 6 ties and 2 losses. So if you're able to erase that and get a better start to the season, then you're going to end up obviously differently. And slightly different expectation coming in. Last year, we just needed to outdo 7th place, and now we're coming in with more expectations. And I think we set the bar about where we want to be. So it's our desire to want to get better every day and sort of finish off where we left off. Not the playoff game, but the game before that.
The game before that certainly was an exciting one. It was a brilliant season for you, Patrice. Congratulations to you, Dan, and Max. Thank you for joining us. Let's head back to the commissioner.
Thank you, Adam. With the 14th overall pick of the 2024 CPO U Sports Draft, Pacific FC select Ibrahim Sadi from Western University.
Well, I know a colleague of mine, one Gareth Wheeler, will be very excited about this pick, as a Mustang is taken by Pacific, who go to the OUA for both of their picks this season. This time, a center back with 11 games played, a goal. He brings some good composure, as you can see, but also the size, the stature that can add to Amir Didic, Thomas Mayer-Jaguar, amongst others. James Merriman, that's who we'd like to talk to before. But now we're going to talk about Jamar Dixon, because he is going to join us. He is, of course, the manager of football and player development, taking on a more involved role next season. Jamar, this seems like a player that likes to read the game. That reminds me of a certain player that I'm talking to right now.
No, thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. And yeah, like you said, Ibrahim he's a clever boy. As you can see, he's very good at breaking the lines. He's both footed. It doesn't matter. He could play with his left or right. And he has great character and a strong demeanor. He helped lead the back line for Western, so he's definitely an interesting player for us. And he's young, right? He can come into this environment, and we can obviously help develop him as best as we can and see how fast he can adapt. But he's definitely someone that we're very interested in and want to give a chance to.
Well, still about a month from just his 20th birthday, so a player with a lot of runway ahead, Jamar. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about your year and this expanded role you're going to be taking on in the new year. I'm sure there will be more details to discuss to iron out, but I want, if you could, to reflect for us, because there are plenty of players in here that are wanting to make a career out of football. You certainly did that exceptionally well in your playing career, but now off the pitch, on the staff. How was 2023 for you as you transitioned to this new role?
No, 2023 was great. There was a lot of learning for myself. I thought James and I assembled a very good squad that could compete. As you can see, we started the season off exceptionally well. But it's a difficult league, and it's a matter of keeping that consistency over the whole course of the season. And we hit a little bit of a dip, but that's all right. It's something we learned from, and we can fix going forward. So hopefully that is the plan for 2024, and we hope to see ourselves back at the top.
Well, Jamar Dixon, former captain of the squad, now the manager of football and player development. Congratulations. Happy holidays to you and yours, and congratulations to both of Pacific's selections. Vancouver's ready, Mark.
Thank you, Adam. With the 15th overall pick of the 2024 CPL U Sports Draft, Vancouver FC select Thomas Powell from Trinity Western University.
Trinity Western University, the Spartans, former alma mater of Joel Waterman. And now it is Thomas Powell's turn to hear his name called. A central midfielder from Coquitlam, direct player, likes to work towards goal, shifty with the ball, spatial awareness to dribble, good passer as well, and an ability to use both feet, break lines with speed, take players on 1v1. Quite the scouting report there. 15 matches played, 4 goals with the Spartans in Canada West this year. So Ashvin Gopi, who joins us now, head coach. This was one that you and Tommy Wheeldon Jr. worked on, trading down in the draft, but still seemingly getting a player that you're quite excited about and future considerations.
Yes, I think we get the captain of a university that's very close to our training facility and our stadium. We get a very complete footballer. You can see in the images, he can play both sides of the game. He has handling speed. He can get forward. He can combine. He can beat players. He can shoot. So we're very happy to have such a footballer with such maturity to add to our team, to give us the depth that's necessary for our season.
Forge is on the clock for their final selection, but one more word, Afshin, if I may. You go and you get the former Unity player in Tom Powell, and then you also have your earlier business with Luke Norman. With the draft complete now, 4 selections for you, this season's learnings as you look into next year, what is the next step for Vancouver? Because it will still just be your second season playing as a club.
Well, at this time last year, we just had only a handful of players. We had really not a staff and no stadium. A year later, I feel even we saw at the end of the season, we're closer to the football team we wanted to be. We won games. We were very competitive. And I feel that we have now added some great pieces to this team with local, international, young, and veteran players. And I feel we're going to have a fantastic team from the beginning of this season. We're much, much closer to the kind of football team we want to be, and exciting, attacking, scoring, and winning.
Well, the end of a long year, Ashvin. I'm sure there won't be much downtime, but you and your staff certainly deserve it. Thanks for joining us today. Congratulations on your selections. We look forward to seeing the Eagles next year. The final pick in the 2024 CPLU Sports Draft, Commissioner, who's it going to be?
Thank you, Adam. With the 16th and final pick of the 2024 CPL U Sports Draft, Forge FC select Amadou Kone from Carleton University.
Amadou Kone goes as the 16th and final selection in the 2024 CPLU Sports Draft, presented by Degree, a dynamic winger, great in 1v1s, looking to create and break lines on the dribble. Played with Ottawa South United and Ligue 1 Quebec, a wide midfield player, a winger, of course, who scored a goal in 12 matches this season, and still a young man at just 18 years of age. Jelani Smith, Director of Soccer Operations with Forge FC, is back. What can you tell us about the player who we will not be calling Mr. Irrelevant, because there's only 16 and clearly a player you guys quite like?
I think you said it best there. A dynamic winner, interesting profile, a great technical ability, light dribbling at defenders in 1v1, quite athletic, and has the ability to stretch opponents in the back line there.
Well, this is a bit unusual because I have to ask you. I should have asked Tommy, but there was much going on. You found out last night that you drew Chivas, and we've seen Forge play some younger players in these big games. But I want to ask you, Jelani, your reaction to the CONCACAF Champions Cup draw and a trip to Guadalajara in your near future.
Hey, so it's all positive. It's fantastic opportunity for the club. Like you said, you played in some big matches. We've been to Mexico to play Cruz Azul and Azteca now, and having a club as Chivas Guadalajara on the resume is up next for us. And we're excited about the opportunity and looking forward to preparing. Having players like this available on our roster to add something is a positive.
Well, Jelani, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on your 2 selections this year, and happy holidays to all in Hamilton. Well, the 16 picks have been made, and they were in order. Owen Shepherd going to Valor from the Cape Breton University Capers. Luke Norman to Vancouver, Luca Piccioli. Christian Zeppieri, Dan Clark, Michael Maslenka, Caden Rogodzinski, and Mohamed Ndiaye rounding out the first round. And the 8 selections we just saw: Frank Facineri, the Windsor Lancer, off to Winnipeg. Rodane Cato from the Alberta Golden Bears goes to Cavalry after they trade up to 10. Samuel Laplante is drafted 2 years in a row and will have a chance to try and crack into the Capital Club in Ottawa. Jason Hartle, another Cape Breton Caper, selected this time by York United. Max Berditha goes from St. FX to the Halifax Wanderers. Pacific selects a Western Mustang. Ibrahim Sadi, Vancouver. Thomas Powell from Trinity Western University, the captain of the Spartans. And Amadou Kone from Carleton goes to Forge to round out the draft. And as Tommy Wheeldon Jr. had noted, even if your name wasn't one of the 16, we had 203 players declare for this draft. There is only 16 selections, but as Tommy alludes to, opportunities for these players to get invites to training camp and try to crack a team and look for that U Sports development contract. Our thank you to Degree for presenting the 6th CPL U Sports draft. It was an exciting one with a lot of new faces and names for the supporters to get to know. And one final reminder that if you would like a chance to win one of 3 Flex Packs, the link is still in the chat. Still time to enter the contest for your chance to win one of those 3. Our thanks to the 9 club representatives that joined us, James and Jamar, adding 1 extra to the group today. We thank them so very much. We thank you at home for joining us on CBC Sports and One Soccer, and a tip of the cap to Matthew Braithwaite and his team behind the scenes for putting this event on. I know that there are schedules to come soon once they get some well-deserved rest. On behalf of our entire crew, I want to thank you for joining us, and to the 16 players who were drafted today, I look forward to calling your name in 2024. Thanks for joining us, everybody.